All right, welcome to the very first Q&A. I know a lot of the people here are going to be from the TikTok, so welcome all the new people. But I got my questions right here. I'm just going to be reading off some questions I got from the TikTok, from the Instagram, or whatever. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first question we got is, do I have any friends here and how long have I lived here? I got to look right here. I keep forgetting. Friends, I got acquaintances like in the school, but I wouldn't say friends, and I've been here for 3 months now. By the time this video came out, it will still be 3 months. So yeah, that's short and simple. The next question we got is, everything short there? No, yeah, I will say like some stuff might be shorter, but for the most part, not short to where the point you're gonna notice it. Like some stuff might be shorter depending on where you is, but not how you're probably thinking. So yes and no. Next up, how do they treat you over there? I mean, bro, they treat me like a normal human. The only time I might get treated different is because I don't know the language. So it's like they have to like maneuver around that. But for the most part, I'm treated, bro, just like a normal human. Yeah, like I don't feel it different. I mean, some people might be insecure about like standing out, but for me, I don't care. So they treat me normal for the most part. Yeah. And if anything, sometimes you might get a little bit better treatment because it's like a foreigner, especially in like a small town. Like, oh crap, it's a foreigner. Like they might smile with you, laugh at you because you messing up on stuff, simple stuff like that. So nothing to worry about. Now this next one is a good question. They said favorite convenience store. Most people are probably thinking I'm gonna say 7-Eleven. Nope. Lawson. I love Lawson. I like the snacks they got in Lawson. The drinks for the most part are basically the same, but Lawson is just better in my opinion. It's less crowded, depending on where you're at. It's more spaced out than the 7-Elevens I've been into, and I just like Lawson. So yeah. Now someone said, my fault, how much did it cost to move there? Now, okay, this is kind of funny. So if we're including the language school, the initial move cost was maybe around 7,000, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, the plane ticket was like, I want to say 500 to 600. It was cheaper. It was on the cheaper end. Luggage was like 400, and then the school and stuff. Actually, what's funny about this is 7,000. I paid the whole joint, and I didn't even know it. So yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know I did that. So yeah. The next question is the pay bad? I mean, it depends. Like if you're talking about is the pay bad for like stuff outside the US, yes, because the yen is way less like valuable outside of Japan. But inside of Japan, like the pay is perfect. It's really affordable to live here, regardless of what type of job you got. Like if you got a job, you can afford to live. Like that's just how it is out here. From my experience and from what I've seen, I'm pretty sure the homeless rate is like less than 1%. So yeah, the pay is super good in Japan. If you're talking about stuff outside of Japan, well, you know. All right, do I recommend moving? Yes and no. If you really want to move to Japan, I definitely recommend moving. But I always tell people Japan ain't gonna be for everybody. Just because you see some people liking Japan don't mean you're gonna like Japan. I made a TikTok video on this literally saying that it's a preference. Some people are gonna like it, some people aren't. So I recommend coming like for like 6 months or 3 months or just however long. Get a taste of it, see if you like it, and if you do, then plan on staying in the future. But yeah, so yes and no. Can you get by just speaking English? Yes. I don't recommend it though. Because if you move here and you just speak English, well, first of all, when I say yes, and if you have an English paying job, like you have a remote job, because it's gonna be a lot harder for you to get a job without knowing any Japanese. And I wouldn't recommend it just because you're gonna be so out of the culture. Like you're only gonna be interacting with foreigners. It may be few Japanese people that know English, so learn the language. Like that's the least you can do if you're moving into a very cultural heavy country. So I recommend at least learning the language. How much is it to go to language school? I kind of answered this before. It can be anywhere from like 5,000 to like 15,000, and then it depends on the courses. Like I think most schools, like one course is around 5 to 6, 7, maybe 8,000 in that range. It really depends on the area you're in and the school you're going to. Mine was way cheaper, but in that ballpark. Does Japan get boring? Now, I'm pretty sure like the full length of this question was like, I know you said you moved to Japan because it's peaceful. Does it get boring? It gets boring if you make it boring. If that makes sense. Like, if you make it boring, like, it's like any country, like, it's gonna be boring if you make it boring. If you go out and do stuff, you're gonna have fun. So, country doesn't get boring. It's more of like, if you make it boring, if you get what I'm saying. What job do you plan on getting when you're fluent? Now, even though the job I'm planning on getting, I don't have to know Japanese at all, like, the job I'm getting isn't necessarily like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm gonna be an English teacher. And before some of y'all like, oh, of course, English teaching. I actually like interacting with people and I want to inspire people and motivate people and help people that got stuff that's going on at home. So that's why I kind of want to get into teaching, and I'm not the smartest, so English teaching is like the only thing I can do. So that's why I'm going into English teaching. So that's my plan after I get fluent and after I go to college. All right, somebody asked, how much prior knowledge should you know before you move to Japan? I recommend at least knowing like the basics. If you're planning on going to language school, at least know like N5 level. If you're not planning on going to language school, at least get conversational level. Or like, if you don't plan on learning when you get here, at least get conversational level. You don't have to, but like, it's more of like a respect thing. So yeah, you don't like, if you're coming to language school, at least N5. If not, I recommend trying to make it to N3. What's the weirdest experience I've had in Japan? See, this is actually funny because, all right, so I was sitting at McDonald's, right? I'm eating McDonald's like I normally eat McDonald's. And I look up and there's this old man. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all after, like, I'm gonna give y'all an example afterwards. So I'm eating, right? I'm eating. I look up and this old man's looking at me like this. Maybe not that long, it was like a second, so it was like, and then he started walked straight into the bathroom. What that means, I don't know. Why did you stare at me? Look me in my eyes and walk straight to that giant. Interesting. Now let me give y'all a visual example of how this went down. Boom, you sitting down eating, walk by. Like, bro, like, I don't know if I took bro's favorite spot in the McDonald's or what, but like, that's what happened. And I'm kind of like, my fault, big bro. I don't know what I did, but I did something. So yeah, that's my weirdest experience. Other than that, I haven't experienced nothing too weird. Other than like some people walking up to me that like try to have a conversation, but they're like extroverted. No, they're introverted, but they're trying to force themselves to be extroverted. So like, yeah. All right, what's the best time to enroll in Japanese language school? From my understanding, some Japanese schools have 3 entry points, some Japanese schools have 2. I know mine has October entry point, which you gotta apply like before, like way before. You keep in mind, you gotta, like, when you're applying to a Japanese language school and you going in at a certain entry point, you gotta apply like 5 months before. So they have October entry points and June entry points. I know some schools also have January entry points, I think, or somewhere along that line. But yeah, the 2 ones that I know for sure, October and June or April, one of those 2. So yeah, look around that time is when you should be going. I recommend probably June because it's gonna be better seasons. But yeah, are you renting or staying in a dorm? Well, I came in and I was in a dorm. I like to say that my dorm catfished me. My dorm had roaches, wasn't that clean, wasn't the best. So moved out of my dorm. Actually, funny story that I'm gonna tell you after this. Moved out of my dorm, got me an apartment, and now I stay in an apartment. Funny story is, I asked the school, like, could y'all help me moving to an apartment? They were like, oh no, we want you to stay in the dorm. You paid 6 months for the dorm, yada, yada, yada. Like, we think you should stay in the dorm. I was like, for sure. Cause I needed somebody to, I needed an emergency contact in Japan, so I wanted the school to be that. The school said no. Hit up some of my old Japanese friends. One of them said yes. Put them as my emergency contact. Later on down the line, keep in mind the school don't know. You know, I told a few people, like, yeah, I got my own place, but I didn't tell the school. So, like, no, don't tell the school. Like a week ago, I pull up to the school by my part-time. They go, by the way, is it true that you have a house, or no, not a house, an apartment across the river? I said, wow. So I'm just like, yeah. But somebody snitched on me, basically. Didn't get in trouble for it, at least not yet. But yeah, somebody snitched on me. Whoever that is, if you're watching this, Mans, bro. Like, Mans, who told you to go do that? That's messed up. But yeah, I got my own apartment. And if y'all want to see the apartment tour, just, I think my first vlog, and if you go to my TikTok, one of my first videos, I got one on there. Next up, how is my school life? Now, see, now I'm kind of like, I'm fine with it. If you were to ask me last month or the month before, I would have told you horrible. I don't really have many friends in school. And by many friends, I don't really have any friends in school. I got like 2 people I'm cordial with, but that's about it. Some people like, some people are super extrovert and they're like, oh, we're friends, right? I'm like, I say yes just to be nice, but it's like, we don't talk outside of school, so we're not friends. And we barely talk in school, so. But I say it's calm. I don't have the best school experience at my school, which is on me, but it's not bad. And for the question I get the most asked 24/7, how do I move to Japan? Now look, I'm gonna break this down in steps, okay? The first thing you're gonna wanna do, I'm only breaking down the language school option. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is find the language school you wanna attend, okay? If you were asking, how do I find the language school I wanna attend? I'm gonna tell you right now. All right, now I couldn't find the exact site that I used, but basically, bro, just go on Google, search up Japanese language schools in Japan, because they're gonna show you language schools for Japanese in the US if you don't, or wherever you're at. But search up Japanese language schools in Japan. Find the school that you want to go to. Now, one, if you're doing this and you got $0 in your bank account, you might as well go ahead and just go ahead and close the tab, because you're not gonna be able to do nothing. Now, if you're just going to see what the price is, sure. So once you found the language school you want, you're basically gonna want to go to their school website and just look for their, they should have like a courses tab or apply tab. Go look at that, look at the prices, look at what it tells you about the school, the location, yada yada. And then when you're ready to apply, just go to where it says apply for the school, or email the school. Once you email the school and you're getting the application process, some of the things they're probably gonna ask you for is a proof of funds, like a proof that you have the money, whether it's like a bank statement or anything like that. They're gonna ask you for obviously your passport, obviously your birth certificate. They might ask you for a guaranteed, I think that's what it's called, or something like that. Which is like another person or something to help you. I don't really know too much. They're gonna ask you if you want to stay in a dorm or your own place. Most of y'all are probably gonna say the dorm. And yeah, for the most part, you just gotta follow the process of what they ask you for. Those are some of the things they're gonna ask you for. When you're applying, it's gonna take you a couple months to get in, because what you send them, they have to get the visa approved wherever you're going. And then you gotta get your visa approved in the US, which you just go to a Japanese embassy. And it's real quick, real simple. You go sign some stuff and then, yeah. Now, I'm not gonna make this video too long because it's just a Q&A, so if y'all have any more questions, let me know. I might add some more in if this is too short. Like, hopefully this is at least like 10 plus minutes. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. Next vlog coming up next Monday. I'm gonna get to editing this. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the video and have a good time.
Bye, have a great time.